We've all been there, right? Just staring at that absolute chaos of cables behind the TV or the desk.
Oh, yeah. The spaghetti monster.
Exactly. Like you need a PhD just to plug something in.
Yeah.
Or, you try to get that perfect 4K signal to a screen way across the room.
And it just doesn't quite work. Signal drops, fuzziness.
Right. Or worse, trying to make that old VGA laptop. And yes, VGA is still out there. Talk to your shiny new HDMI display. It's a common frustration, isn't it? This constant battle for quality and range and getting old tech to play nice with new tech.
It really is a constant juggling act.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into something designed to, well, cut right through all that mess. It's the WolfPack VGA and 4K 30Hz HDMI switcher via TT6 to 330 feet with POE. Bit of a mouthful.
It is, but it tells you a lot up front.
It does. And our mission today is basically to figure out how this one box can be this powerful fix. We'll look at the features, sure, but also the tech underneath it makes it work. So yeah, let's unpack this. How does one gadget do so much? VGA and 4K HDMI over disses on one cable.
Well, that's really the core problem it tackles head-on. You've got places like conference rooms, maybe classrooms, even some home setups, where you absolutely need to connect, say, an older laptop with only VGA out.
Still happens all the time.
It does. Or maybe some specialized gear. And right alongside it, you've got your modern 4K stuff, streaming boxes, new PCs, consoles, and the display. It might be way over there.
Yeah, across the room or even further.
Exactly. And traditionally, managing those different signals, maybe converting the VGA, then extending both signals reliably, that's always been tricky. Expensive sometimes, and you often lose quality. This WolfPack thing really tries to be that elegant solution.
And looking at it, what jumps out is it's not just an extender. It's actually doing more. It's a switcher too, right?
That's a key part.
So you can manually pick between the HDMI source and the VGA source,
Yeah.
plus their audio. And it seems like you get everything you need. The transmitter, the receiver, the TX and RX. It's all in the box, ready to go.
Yeah, that's a big plus. No hunting for compatible pairs. It's designed as a system.
Makes sense.
And what's clever is how it handles those different inputs. It takes and like VGA, think of it like an older language.
Right.
And the digital HDMI, and it processes them. It basically digitizes that VGA signal, kind of brings it up to speed, and then sends both out in a way that can travel a long distance reliably.
Okay, so it's unifying them.
Exactly. Now, one really important point for anyone planning the 4K 30 Hz capability, that's only for the HDMI input.
Ah, okay. Good clarification.
Yeah, the VGA gets extended nicely, but it's not magically turned into 4K, which, makes sense given where it started.
Totally. So it's like a smart converter, switcher, and extender combined? Okay, and that brings us to the distance part. This is where I think people really start paying attention. It says 1080p up to 330 feet, that's 100 meters. And 4K at 30 hertz up to 230 feet or 70 meters. That seems, well, incredible for just one standard network cable.
It is pretty impressive range.
So how does it do that? Maintain the quality over that kind of run on just like Anki 6 cable.
Yeah.
What's the magic ingredient here?
The magic, or rather the technology, is HDBaseT. That's the absolute core of it.
HDBaseT. Oh.
It's what makes these long runs possible over standard CAT6 or CAT6A, even CAT7 cables.
Yeah.
It's really the backbone tech that lets this WolfPack switcher do its thing, packing all that signal onto one wire.
HDBaseT, right. So for people listening who maybe haven't dealt with AV infrastructure stuff directly, can you give us like an analogy? What is HDBaseT simply?
Sure. Think of it like a multi-lane superhighway, but condensed. Normally, you'd need separate lanes, right? One big one for your high-res video, another for audio, maybe another for control signals like infrared, and maybe even power.
Yeah, lots of different cables usually.
Exactly. HDBaseT cleverly bundles all of that video, audio, control, sometimes even power onto a single lane, which is your standard Ethernet cable.
Ah, okay, so it consolidates everything.
Precisely. It's a very efficient way to move a lot of different types of data, plus power over long distances without things breaking down.
That makes it super clear. So HDBaseT sounds fantastic for these distances, really convenient. But just playing devil's advocate, are there any trade-offs? Like maybe tiny delays or bandwidth limits compared to something like direct fiber, even if fiber is way more complex and costly?
That's a fair question. It's always about the right tool, isn't it? For almost all the situations this WolfPack is designed for, conference rooms, classrooms, home theaters, digital signage, HDBaseT is frankly excellent. You get uncompressed HD in 4K 30, which looks great. Now, if you were in, say, A high-end broadcast setup, or maybe an esports arena needing absolute zero latency, uncompressed 4K at 60 hertz or higher over huge distances, then yeah, dedicated fiber might have a slight edge.
Right, the extreme cases.
Exactly. But fiber is much more expensive, harder to install, needs different connectors, and usually doesn't bundle power and control like HDBaseT does. So for its price and versatility, HDBaseT hitting these distances over standard network cable, it's pretty hard to beat.
So what this really means for you, the listener, is potentially way less cable mess, much more freedom in where you put your screens and your source devices, and just a generally smarter, cleaner way to handle your AV.
Definitely transformative for install.
Okay, so we have HDBaseT as our superhighway. Let's dig into some of the specific features now that make this WolfPack switcher practical day-to-day. We mentioned the 4K 30 Hz on HDMI,
Right.
but also that it handles a bunch of VGA resolutions, like 1920 by 1080 at 60 Hz, 1280 by 720. So good legacy support.
Yeah.
And it's HDMI 1.4 and HDCP compliant. That HDCP part is important, right?
Oh, absolutely crucial. HDCP, that's high bandwidth digital content protection, is what stops you getting those annoying blank screens or error messages when you try to play protected content.
Like Blu-rays or streaming stuff.
Exactly. Blu-rays, Netflix, encrypted satellite. Without HDCP compliance, it just won't work. And the other thing you mentioned, ED-DOI learning mode, also key.
ED-DOI.
Yeah.
Right? What does that do for you?
Think of EDID extended display identification data as like a digital handshake. Your source device, like a laptop, asks the display, your TV or projector, hey, what resolutions and refresh rates can you handle?
Okay.
The display sends back its list of capabilities, its EDID info, then the source picks the best match. Without that proper handshake, you might get no picture or the wrong resolution. ED learning helps ensure that happens smoothly, automatically.
Got it. Makes sense. Now, what about power and control over these long runs? I see it mentions bidirectional POE.
Yeah.
What's the practical benefit of that for someone setting this up?
Bidirectional PoE, power over Ethernet, is a huge win for installers. It means you only need one power adapter for the whole system.
Oh, really? Just one?
Yep. You can plug the power adapter into either the transmitter unit or the receiver unit, whichever is more convenient, maybe closer to an outlet, and the power travels along that same CT6 cable to the other end.
Wow, okay. That cuts down wiring significantly.
It really does. Fewer power bricks, fewer outlets needed. And besides power, it also handles bidirectional IR, that's infrared and RS-232 control.
Okay, what do those let you do?
Bidirectional IR means you can point your normal remote control at the TV location and control the source device hidden away in a cabinet, or vice versa. It sends the IR signals back and forth over the CT6. Works with most remotes. It says 20 to 60 kilohertz range.
Handy. And RS-232, that sounds more professional.
It is often used in Pro AV. RS-232 is a standard serial connection. On this device, it lets you do things like manually force a switch between the HDMI and VGA inputs using commands, perform firmware updates.
Keeping it up to date.
Right, for both the main chip and the control chip. And it even has a bypass mode, so you could integrate it into a bigger control system, like from Crestron or AMX if you needed to.
Okay, interesting. Now, there's another control feature, CEC, Consumer Electronics Control. Lots of people might actually be using this already on their TVs without knowing the name.
Very likely, yeah.
Where your TV remote can control your Blu-ray player, maybe. The key thing here seems to be that this WolfPack unit passes those CEC signals through. So it doesn't break that nice integrated control you might already have set up.
Exactly. It acts transparently for CEC.
But for those who aren't familiar, what is CEC and why is passing it through important?
So CEC is this neat feature built into HDMI. It lets devices talk to each other. The most common use is using your TV remote to control other connected HDMI devices, maybe power on your soundbar when the TV turns on, or control playback on a connected player.
Right, that one remote convenience.
Exactly. This WolfPack ensures those commands still get through, even over the long CT6 run. So if your TV normally controls your receiver volume via CEC, it still will with this extender in place. The only catch, as you hinted, is all devices have to support CEC, and sometimes brands like Sony or LG might call it something different, like Simple Link or CE-Link, and occasionally limit how well it works with other brands.
Gotcha, but the extender itself won't be the bottleneck for CEC.
Correct. It passes it through.
Okay, all this tech is great, sounds really capable.
Yeah.
But installation, That's often where things go wrong, right? No matter how good the gear is.
Absolutely. The cable and connections are critical.
So what are the big do's and don'ts from the sources? Any key tips for installation or troubleshooting to make sure people actually get that 330-foot performance?
This is super important. The documentation is really clear here. Number one, use a home run C6 or CAT6A cable,
Home run meaning?
meaning one single unbroken cable run directly from the transmitter, TX, to the receiver, RX. No junctions in the middle.
Ah, so no connecting shorter cables together with couplers, no wall plates with connections behind them.
Exactly. Avoid hubs, couplers, splitters, wall plates, anything that breaks the direct connection. Each connection point is a potential failure point or place for signal loss, especially over distance. They also specifically say don't use EZ45 connectors or run through patch panels.
Okay, direct connection only. Makes sense for reliability.
Definitely. And stick to the TIA EIA 568B wiring standard when you put the RJ45 connectors on the ends. And for the absolute best signal integrity, especially to avoid interference,
Yeah.
they strongly recommend using shielded CT6 or CAT6A cable with metal RJ45 connectors. That shielding helps prevent electrical noise, EMI, from messing with the signal, which can cause like random video flashes or dropouts.
Okay, so solid core, shielded CT6 or 6A, properly terminated direct run. Got it. That's crucial advice.
It really is key to getting the performance advertised.
And if someone follows all that but still hits a snag,
Yeah.
any basic troubleshooting steps?
The usual suspects, really. Double-check the manual input switch on the unit. Make sure the resolution your source is sending matches what the TV can handle. That eat-eyed handshake we talked about is important there. And, of course, test the cable itself. Make sure it's wired correctly and has continuity.
Right. The simple things first. Good advice.
Always.
Now, shifting gears slightly, there's this whole WolfPack branding. It's kind of evocative.
It is, yeah.
The source material describes the WolfPack line as sleek, unique, and swift, and able to adapt to many hostile environments. It even says they were born from a hungry circling pack that's around our competition to devour them. That's quite the image.
Huh, yeah, it's definitely memorable branding.
How does that imagery connect to what the product actually does? Is it just marketing, or does it reflect something about the performance?
I think it connects pretty well, actually. It paints a picture of a product line that's designed to be tough, adaptable, and, well, perform better than the average solution in its environment. This switcher extender, by handling both old VGA and new 4K and pushing it over long distances reliably, kind of embodies the adaptability and pack leader performance in tricky AV setups. It lives up to being able to roam long distances over HDBaseT trails and HAL 4K, as they put it. It reinforces that HDTV Supply sees this as a premium problem-solving product.
A one-of-a-kind WolfPack product, as they say.
Right, engineered to really tackle those common AV distribution headaches.
And it seems like HDTV Supply really backs these products up, too. Looking at their support offerings, it's pretty comprehensive.
That's often just as important as the hardware itself.
Yeah, they list free US-based lifetime tech support over the phone, a dedicated Texties support line, which is interesting.
Yeah, quite modern.
Dedicated product manager for the WolfPack line. Firmware updates easy to find on their site. Plus, things like usually shipping same day, double boxing for protection, full insurance,
That shows care and fulfillment.
a 30-day no-hassle return policy,
Yeah.
and they promise confidentiality. Oh, and they're an HDBaseT.org approved adopter.
That last one gives confidence in the core tech implementation.
Right. So all that support, that seems really valuable, especially for more specialized gear like this.
It's absolutely essential, I'd say. When you're investing in something that needs to solve a specific, potentially tricky problem, knowing you have solid, accessible support behind it, that's huge peace of mind. It means you're not just buying a box, you're buying a solution with backup. It makes the difference between a frustrating experience and long-term satisfaction.
Totally agree. So wrapping things up from this deep dive, it feels like this WolfPack switcher really does manage to simplify some pretty complex AV challenges.
It certainly aims to.
Bridging that gap between legacy VGA and modern 4K HDMI, pushing signals reliably over serious distances thanks to HDBaseT, adding conveniences like POE and bidirectional IR and RS-232 control,
Yeah.
and then backing it all with that robust support structure from HDTV Supply. It seems like a really well-thought-out package.
It covers a lot of bases for those specific needs, yeah.
It really shows how one smart piece of hardware can streamline things, pushing what we thought was possible with just standard network cables.
Definitely. And maybe connecting this to the bigger picture. Thinking beyond just one setup, how could this kind of approach, consolidating signals, extending them easily over common cables, change things more broadly?
Ooh, interesting question.
Like, think about larger places, schools, corporate campuses, maybe even hospitals. Places where running lots of different specialized AV cables is expensive and disruptive.
Right, pulling fiber everywhere is a major undertaking.
Exactly. But nearly everywhere has network cable infrastructure already. So could devices like this make deploying high-quality AV in those environments much more accessible, more flexible, and ultimately less resource-intensive than we're used to?
That's a great point. Imagine classrooms where adding a new display or connecting different devices doesn't mean ripping open walls, or conference centers where you just need network drops. It really could simplify and democratize high-quality AV distribution in those larger spaces.
Yeah.
Makes it less of a specialized, costly project.
Potentially, yeah. Lowering the barrier.
Definitely something to think about. The downstream effects of making complex AV distribution simpler and more reliant on existing infrastructure. Food for thought for sure.